Warning, the following podcast may occasionally contain strong language and material that is not suitable for all ages. If you are easily offended, it is highly advised that you turn back now. However, if you're a degenerate, welcome, brethren. You've found your home.
Welcome to the Crime Diner. Have you dined with us before? This is a podcast of true crime, cults, mysteries, and general creepiness. We do this within a dinner with friends theme. I'm Nidia.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Cindy.
I actually had to think about that.
Did you?
I had to pause and think about it. How are we? Where are we again?
Like,
what is this?
To the core.
Because a lot of
this?
people still think that a podcast is watchable.
There's a podcast I'm listening to by someone who has multiple podcasts. They have been podcasting for like a decade.
Okay.
And today I was listening to one of their episodes and she was like, you know when you watch this podcast and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, watch the podcast. Like, you can't say watch the podcast if you've been podcasting for a decade. But you're right. People still do think like, where can I watch it at?
Yeah. I mean, we get old folks asking us, like people who know us, where can I catch your show on? You know, where can I watch it?
Where can I watch it?
Is it on the YouTubes?
It is on the YouTubes.
It is on the YouTubes. You can actually put it on the YouTubes. You won't see us, but you will hear the whole show on the YouTubes.
I mean, not seeing us might actually be a win.
It might be a win.
Yeah.
I think so. Certainly. Last week we talked about the Danny Phantom murder. And it was about a YouTuber who I would say seemingly lost their mind. And there was a mass shooting at their work.
Yeah.
I think you should check it out because that was a wild episode.
That mind was definitely lost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very sad story.
It really
in the
is,
end, yeah.
The thing that I walked away with was the parents didn't see anything,
I mean, even none of his viewers saw anything. Like, it was really like, there was a lot there. There was a lot there to talk about. I've been thinking about that case a lot, like even just since last week when we were deep dived into it.
Uh-huh.
And I am just like, damn, man, like at what point do you step in when someone's not doing well?
When it's your kid.
I mean, like, okay, maybe they were detached. Like, what about your friends? Like, some of us don't really like...
He didn't have any friends.
That's what I was going to mention.
Yeah,
he didn't have any friends. He had fans.
He had some fans, yeah.
And the fans probably just thought it was a role he was playing.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to know if it was a role or if it wasn't until what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I could go round and round with you guys about that again and again because it's just like... It's so tragic what happened.
Yes. So I have a story for you guys this week. On June 15th, 2011, a new transplant to Puerto Rico was gunned down in broad daylight.
Uh-oh.
Usually the police chalked this type of crime up to gang violence or a robbery or crossfire. But the victim was a banker from New Jersey who had recently been hired to do some cleanup work at a struggling bank.
Uh-oh.
When investigators got the case, what they uncovered was more bizarre than anybody had ever expected.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to tell you about the murder of Maurice Spagnoletti and the downfall of the Doral Bank of Puerto Rico.
Oh, my goodness. Very dramatic.
Very off-brand for me, because I usually go for extreme gore and cannibalism and the like.
Okay.
But I'm going to take it a different route.
Okay. All right.
But first, the food. Let us pray. Bless us, O patrons, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy donations through Patreon every month under the power of the V Podcast.
Cult.
What is it? Tell me what it is, Nidia.
It's pastelon.
Pastelon.
What is it?
It's like a lasagna, but with plantain.
Oh, I've had this before.
Oh, good.
At your house.
I made it for you?
Is this got like mofongo or something in it?
Not mofongo, but it is sweet plantains.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me just tell you that I picked a Puerto Rican story because I was like, the last time we recorded, Cindy was like, well, pick a story based on the food that you like then. Because I was like saying I haven't had... Yeah, because I was complaining, per usual. And I was like, wait a minute, I can do that?
I'm like literally telling her to jump through hoops to like make the food for my episodes. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like, make that puppet dance, bitch.
Way off.
Dance That's for me, monkey.
I flipped her the bird if you did not know.
All right, serve this shit up.
Let's go.
We just did a thing. Oh, let me just remind you, we have timestamps. If you want to go ahead, because you're just that type of person, go ahead, skip us.
Go ahead, babe.
We're worth knowing. I just want you to know that.
I think that's, it feels like a mistake on your part.
Let's be friends. That's all.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to,
But
go
if
ahead.
you don't
Just
want
skip
to,
ahead. Whatever.
hey, man, this is not a forceful situation.
No.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
No. So just look at the timestamps in the show notes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the food. Oh, my God.
Are you so excited?
Wasn't that delicious?
That was so good.
I ate so much.
I have to say, on the whole planet, in the abundance of the earth,
Okay.
plantains might be like my top favorite thing to
Well,
eat.
you haven't tried everything.
I just love them so much.
Okay, so you love plantains.
I love them.
Yes.
I love them in everything that I've ever had them in. Most of the times I've eaten them is because Cindy made them for me. Or if I eat at like any Spanish restaurant or Mexican restaurant or wherever they are, then I'm like, if they're on the menu, it's like them and then goat cheese. Like, yes. Not together usually. I don't think they go together, but...
they could.
Okay, I'd try it.
Fuck it,
They're like my two favorite things. If they're on the menu... Or if goat cheese is on the menu, I'm definitely having whatever's in it.
Yeah, plantains
Certainly.
are pretty.
They're
like
love them.
potatoes. Mm-hmm. They're so versatile.
I like them sweet. I like them savory. I like them.
Yeah.
I like them with my eggs and ham. I like them. Anyway,
I am. I think Dr. Seuss is coming out with that.
Okay, good.
Plátanos.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So Cindy made, what was that called again?
That's called pastelon.
And it's basically a lasagna made with plantains, sweet plantains.
But like, if you're thinking lasagna, no.
Simply no. There's no sauce.
There's no sauce. It's not red.
Right.
It's not ricotta cheese.
It's not ricotta cheese. But it is layered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's layered like a lasagna.
Mm-hmm. And instead of noodles, it's like plantains.
I take sweet plantains, I cut them long ways, I fry them, and then I lay them down.
Lay them down.
I lay them
she
down.
lays them down.
I feel good, baby. Is that how that song goes? I don't know.
And then you add the picadillo, which is the Spanish term for the ground beef. I use ground beef in this, all seasoned up and lovely. And I put that on top, then add cheese on top of that, then add another layer of the...
Wait.
And then I laid another layer of sweet
Cheese
plantains and
plantains,
cheese
meat.
and meat. Yeah.
Yeah, bitch.
Oh, yes.
I can't. So I'm
Harder.
So I gotta tell you,
What?
you are usually the drunk one on the podcast. You have a problem. We've acknowledged it a few weeks ago, but I'm already done my drink, which is not what usually happens for me. But this is up my alley.
We're having pina coladas, folks. Pina coladas.
Now there's no maraschino cherry, which honestly, you might as well go home, Cindy. It's a fail.
We all lost our cherries very long ago.
But this is delicious. I have the tiniest little sip left. I'm a little bummed about it. I'm hoping there's enough for me to have one more. Because since it's your story tonight, I feel like I'm owed a belligerent episode.
You are the one that edits this. So
Very true.
have a belligerent episode. I welcome it. I love chaos.
Yeah.
I am a master of chaos, and I'm here for it.
The problem is I get all bro-y, and I'm like, what's up, bro? Hey, bro. How you doing, bro? And then I want to like totally die later. So.
You are a frat bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, TikTok told me that bro is a non-binary term now.
Word.
I love
Bro
that.
and dude.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. That needed to be a non-binary
Yeah,
word.
because you want to know what? I love being called dude.
I fucking love being called dude.
Yeah.
Or bro. Well,
bro.
I've been called bro since my son turned 12.
Definitely.
I was like, well, not bro, but bruh.
Bruh.
I went from mama to mommy to mom to bruh.
I never got mommy. Gage called me mama. Like, it used to melt my heart. Like, I was like, where are you from, you little southern bumpkin? Because he called me mama till he was like 12. Aww. And then he was like, listen, bruh. Bruh. And I'm like, ew, what happened?
No one prepares you for that shit.
No. Very terrible.
Yes.
So, fun fact about the drinks, Nydia's almost done, and she had almost double the size we had.
Isn't that the thing? It's on brand for me, really. Yeah.
So, Pina Coladas are actually the national drink of Puerto Rico. And after doing some research, it was founded according to Discover Puerto Rico and Bacardi website.
Oh.
That's official.
And you know it's true. If it's why are you wiping the top of your lip with the freaking edge of the glass?
Mustache of pina colada on it. I didn't want that there. I didn't have a napkin, but there are some directly in front of me.
She wiped her pina colada mustache off with the edge of her.
Well, because last week you had a red rose mustache going up like you were a supervillain.
She did.
Want that to happen.
Well, I was drinking wine last week.
Yes, babe. Yes, you were.
So it was made in 1954. I mean, other people have tried to take claim, but the one that's most known is the 1954 one, which was made by Ramon Monchito Morero, and he used Bacardi as the main rum.
So that's what made it official?
No, that he officially took, according to discoverpuertorico.com, it took him 3 months to create the recipe.
Oh my God. Now I have a question for you.
What?
Do you like pina colada?
You're so fucking stupid. She's cut off.
I'm waiting for my second drink during dessert. I'm hoping I'm going to get a little upgrade here.
I was actually about to make another one.
All right.
Actually, you know what I was craving all fucking week?
What's that?
The spice rum and Coke.
After you talk trash on me loving spice rum.
When do I not talk trash?
I know. It's like Nydia, talk trash, Apollonia, right?
Yes.
It's like all she
my
does.
middle name.
Yeah. I thought I would tell you, in my dating experience, right? I try to warn all of these this massive quantities of women that I'm dating.
These unsuspecting ingenues.
Yes, yeah. I have thousands and thousands of dates lined up. They're lined up around the corner. And I try to warn them. I say, I'm an unfeeling ice queen. I have no emotions. I'm an unfeeling ice queen. You'll never break me. I don't cry. I don't have emotions. I don't get upset. I'm very low-key, very unexcitable. I like to warn them. I was talking about my favorite song. When I was a little kid, when I was like a very small child, I said my family will call me when 2 songs play. If they hear them in the supermarket or wherever, my family will call me when either one of these 2 songs play.
They will call you.
They'll call me and say, guess what's playing on the supermarket? And I'm like, it's one of 2 songs. It's either...
Now, wait a minute. You know that when your favorite song is playing in the supermarket, you is old, bitch.
Yes. And these 2 are very old songs. Okay. So my very first favorite song ever, when I was like 2 years old, was I'm Walking on Sunshine. And if that song is playing, there's just like a gaggle of people who will call me and be like, I'm Walking on Sunshine is on. I'm Walking on Sunshine is on. And the other one is from Fievel, An American Tale, the Somewhere Out There with Linda Ronstadt,
Oh my God.
And that one comes on, and like, when that song comes on, it just melts me. It just melts me. It melts my ice cold heart.
The ice cream?
Yes, it just melts my ice cold heart. So I'm like going on some dates with this girl, and we were talking about that. It had come up because it was a beautiful day out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm Walking on Sunshine." Just it comes up for me,
Right.
So it led into that conversation.
Because you're not corny.
No, I'm not corny at all. No,
not at all.
No, I'm fun and
you're not basic.
No, I'm like super inviting and enjoyable. People love me. I'm delightful.
I mean, you're the ice queen.
Yes.
You're so cool, Tucka.
So she proceeds to tell me that she has never seen Fievel, An American Tale. And I was like, this simply will not do. We have to watch it immediately. Right. And then I found it for free on TV. So we watched it. And when Fievel found Papa...
Papa? Not Papa.
And he found his hat that has been in their family for 3 generations. I fucking was sobbing on this girl's couch.
The ice queen
The
melted?
two of us sitting next to each other sobbing about Papa, not Papa. I was like, she was like, okay, ice queen. I was like, simply never tell anyone about this. I will talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because now I'm 2 Pina Coladas in. So I'm working on my second Pina Colada, so I'm going to tell you how I'm not the ice queen I claim to be.
Oh, but you will talk a good game about being this ice queen.
I certainly will. And she was like, why are you saying that? I was like, I don't know. It's a facade I put on for 5 years and I just cannot let it go.
Dana has this leather jacket and she's flicked the collar up.
That's
and
right.
she's like a switchblade in her hand.
That's right. But it's really a comb.
It's a comb.
I brush my hair. Well, I brush my one side of my head because I have a shaved head. I have a whole thing happening, okay? I have a jean jacket. Do you have a jean jacket? I'm fucking cool. Okay?
Wait, I just told him it was leather.
I'm just saying, like, these are all my cool jackets I have. I do have a leather jacket. I have 2 leather jackets, and one of them has a hood on it, okay? I'm very cool.
Not a fucking hood.
Yes, a hood.
Oh my God. These middle-aged women and their hoods.
Thank you. I'm very cool.
So... What? Why'd you clutch your chest?
Middle age was a little rough, if I'm honest.
Middle age has been rough since my early 30s. And when she called me middle aged, when I was in my 30s, and I clutched my pearls back then.
Middle age is that's a little tough pill to swallow.
Well, we are.
But I'm personally not teaching one of my students who I taught their parents decades before. So, like...
Neither am I.
No, neither are you.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know.
Girl, shut your mouth. You've had too much to drink.
Can we have dessert?
We sure can.
To warm my ice cold heart?
You're so stupid. Stop.
Oh, shit.
Is this a pineapple upside down cake?
Yes, it's Puerto Rican rum pineapple upside down cake.
Oh, shit. I fucking love pineapple upside down cake.
I haven't had that since I was like, maybe like 10, 8.
Now, this one looks a little beat up, but it's
The word is rustic, friend.
rustic because it's stuck to the bundt pan. I had made a couple other ones inside individual cups, and I left those at home. But you get this.
I'm worried about the rum
Why?
because I'm afraid it'll change the taste.
Oh, well, let's give it a shot. There's maraschino cherries on that.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have them for the drink. You were so upset.
But yeah, okay. All right, let's see.
What'd you think about the pineapple upside down cake?
It was a bit too sweet for me.
Really?
I enjoyed it and it hit the spot. But I didn't need to eat the whole thing to get the gist of it.
Yeah.
I like pineapple upside down cake, but
Me
it needs
too.
to be a little more tart for me.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I love pineapple upside down cake. This was very good. If I'm honest, I could have another thing of the lasagna plantain thing.
Oh yeah.
over the dessert just because it was so fucking good.
I know.
But yeah, Cindy like picked out the crispy pieces that I was eating. So like, which I do appreciate because, you know, I love a crispy bitch.
I do have to say I tried a new recipe because this one incorporated Puerto Rican rum or dark rum. So I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I found that I wish I would have made another batch of the sauce to pour over it. Because I think it would have helped with the thickness and the dryness. Because it's a little thick and dry.
Now, I have a question.
me.
Yeah, no, it was a little dry.
I didn't think it was dry.
I mean, it wasn't like, I didn't choke on it, certainly.
It was like a, I mean, I never choke on it.
That's what she said.
It was, it didn't feel dry. It felt like a sponge cake.
Yeah, it was almost like between a sponge and a pound cake.
But
Like it
that's
had
what I
that
meant. That's what I
yeah.
meant. It was like a pound
It
cake.
had that density, certainly,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it could have used some sort of sauciness.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I felt like it needed more of that sauce. What I had done was, while it was upside down and still in the bundt pan, I had poked holes in it and I poured the sauce into the cake itself. When I flipped it over, I was hoping, you know, it's kept that.
Yeah.
I just feel like it didn't do that.
What was the sauce that you poured in it?
It was a combination of brown butter, dark rum, brown sugar,
Jesus Christ.
and a touch of I had actually soaked the pineapples in that sauce for quite a while. So some of the pineapple juices are in there. So yeah.
Yeah, it was. I love the pineapple and the cherry part on the top with a little crispy, crunchy.
As she was
sugariness.
talking, like I saw myself like showering with the sauce and putting it under my arms, and like the sauce is just like going over me, and it's like all in my hair and in my eyes, and I'm just like splashing it on my face.
I mean, honestly, yes, please. I'm here for that. There's been a couple of sauces she's made over the last year or so that I'm like, can we just take a bath in that?
The dressing that she makes.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
I can't take credit for the dressing. That's Danny makes that dressing.
Fucking Danny.
I feel like a lot of the things that we love, Danny makes.
Yeah.
You're fired.
What's your point?
I was about to say, hush your mouth. I'll never make the whipped cream again.
Oh. So I got a question. While we were on the break, you asked me to rinse the outside of the jars, but I was a little drunk when you said that, so I rinsed the inside of the jars, which had like a weird milky consistency for the Pina Coladas.
Which was
What was that?
Coconut cream.
So what was it? Just
are you,
coconut
new
cream?
here?
Coconut
No,
cream.
I didn't know. I've never made a Pina Colada before.
Are you fucking for real?
Not that, like, I don't think so. I can't think of what. Like, I know it's like pineapple juice and like rum, but like I don't know what the thickness was.
It was, it's coconut cream. It's kind of like the oily, creamy stuff of the coconut.
With sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Delicious.
Yeah. Okay. It was good. Yeah.
I used that
I
to
dumped
make-
it down the sink. I felt sort of bad about it because I was like, okay, I'll rinse it out if you want. And she was like, I meant the outside. I was like, sorry about it.
I didn't say it meanly like
No,
that.
she didn't. She was very nice.
That's the reason I will stay sober this night.
Thanks, babe.
She's barely sober.
No, I'm staying sober. I'm trying hard to stay
She doesn't have a
sober.
choice. I dumped it down the sink.
And here's what kept me nice and sober. The realization that we got a 1-star review this week.
I bet you the 1 star is that one of the co-hosts gets really drunk and belligerent through the episodes.
You think?
No, I don't know. I couldn't imagine what it could be. I think
So-
we're perfect.
Apple Podcast. This is where we got it, by the way. Thank you, troll. Whoever you are. You know what? Like, I don't see it as bad because, you know,
I mean, I don't love it.
I don't love it, but like, come on, like, who are you if you don't have haters? Even Mother Teresa had haters.
Well, Mother Teresa.
Was she problematic?
She was a little problematic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a better example of somebody that like everybody loves. And
I mean, my first thought is Dolly Parton, but I can't think of anything wrong with her.
Dolly Parton is very much hated by some people.
Who? We should
people.
fight them
We should fight them
because she's the best.
Well, let me just tell you. Anybody who's relevant has haters, and
Sure.
now we're relevant. We
Okay,
have
maybe.
a hater.
So we're sort of in this weird limbo where we got the 1 star review today, and we don't know if there's actually going to be a written review. So we don't really know if it's just the 1 star or if we have like a you have ugly faces and terrible voices situation happening. So like
one can only pray.
I mean, or like what I said earlier was like. The editing is terrible. You're such a loser. And I'm like, ooh, that feels like a personal attack because I'm the only one that does the editing.
I'm almost here for it because you can have fun with that.
I mean, it could be like, what if they were like, the punny titles are really stupid and I hate them? And like, that's like solely on you.
See, I am of the party. I am of the belief that if somebody hates something, I do it all the more.
Oh, you're one of those?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I'm a
I have way too
narcissist.
much anxiety for that.
It's not
I'm like,
about
how can I
you.
change? How can I please you? Please tell me what to do.
Yeah, no.
I am with Dana on that.
I'm like, please tell me what to do so you'll like me.
No, I'm not like that. I'm like,
I know,
oh,
you're like...
you found something that I like to do and you don't like it, and I'm going to do it even more because I know you hate it.
Are you sure you're an older sister? God, that is little sister energy if I ever heard it. Oh my God.
We did get a comment on one of our episodes on YouTube where they said, you know...
YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube where they said
She
that
didn't tell us about this.
the episode could be great if you guys didn't cuss as much.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, that I don't care about. We did also get a bad comment about your episode of Brian Laundrie and
yeah.
Gabby Petito,
The
Brian
Gabby Petito,
Laundrie,
yeah.
where they made a comment. I didn't take it bad.
No, that one didn't really feel as personal.
She said, I think it was a she. She said, imagine being upset about somebody investigating somebody's murder or something.
Right.
Like,
which was not what we were upset about.
No, like as if to say that we were upset that they were investigating a white girl murder, and you know what? It was just like a.
Right.
She made it a race thing.
I think you're missing the point. Was that many people need to be investigated? Was really all it was. Like,
right, but I didn't take it.
Yeah, that was like the most like egregious comment we've ever gotten, I would think.
Yeah, and
it wasn't even that bad. Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad.
I didn't take it as like an
initially, like it was scary. You know, like a couple of times, like when we had the Spill the Tennessee Tea, that episode where Frank Castile's son reached out to us, and then but we ended up getting to like have a whole episode with him.
Well,
so,
he
like,
reached out to us and he was like, well, some of the stuff was wrong and but he appreciated that we saw both sides of the story.
Right, yeah. That's the thing, right? Is like we chose a podcast medium in that
listen,
people have an opinion. Yeah,
it doesn't even have to be a podcast. Anytime you put yourself out there, whether you're making TikToks, whether you're on Instagram, whatever the fuck you are, anytime you put yourself out there, you're going to have people commenting because opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one and they all stink.
Yeah, sometimes they stink.
No, all of the time.
All the time, okay.
I'm starting to slur.
And I said sink instead of sing.
That's right.
I saw sink again, so I don't know what to tell you. Moving on. I can't say.
4 shots in.
So, yeah, the 1-star review, Apple hangs on to their, like, reviews or whatever. I don't know what that's for. Maybe they hang on to it to make sure that there's nothing, like, terrible written in them or something. But I guess we'll find out in a day or two.
Yeah.
And then we'll come on here and we'll
let you know, yeah. But what you can do to combat our 1-star review is give us a 5-star review, because that's fucking rude. Fucking rude.
I don't give a
I'm sorry that somebody was upset about our cursing, because that's true. We do have foul mouths, but like...
Well, I did respond to them because we can respond on comments.
Yeah.
So I did respond. I said, I'm sorry that you felt that way. We do try to put a disclaimer at the very beginning that we're just a bunch of degenerates and you're moving forward to listen. So I said it nicer.
Yeah.
So,
and I used to go through and take some of the fucks out.
Yeah.
Like back when it was just Nydia and I, because I would be like, God, we say fuck too much. And I'm just like, yeah, it's actually daunting to do that. So like, I do sometimes when I feel like it's a fuck heavy episode. A
lot of our episodes are fuck heavy.
Yeah. But I mean,
I remember Nydia.
I will not apologize for who we are.
But I remember Nydia at the beginning when I came on. She's like, stop cussing so much.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Oh, because she says motherfucker, which you don't like.
Cindy uses the big guns a lot. And see, if you know Cindy's a very sweet angel baby of a child. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, she is just the sweetest thing.
Little bambino.
And to hear her curse is really off-putting to me.
Well, you must have gotten used to it, but she doesn't pull the whole MF-er like she used to.
Yeah,
I think you beat it out of her.
I may have. But last episode was very curse-heavy.
Was it?
Yes, for us. Very curse-heavy.
I don't remember.
But we're from Jersey. Hey, listen.
Ooh.
Jersey people, that's what we do.
We're foul-mouthed.
Yeah. But I have a story for you.
Let's hear it.
Hey everybody, I'm Jess.
And I'm Ebony.
And we are
the Gruesome Twosome Movie Reviewsome.
We are about the wacky, the wonderful,
the weird,
the strange,
the unusual,
the gore,
the fucked up,
the actors,
the connection,
the passion, the love. Pretty much everything that
comes with
represents. Yeah. But if it's on a screen, we are there. We are reviewing. We love snacks. We love people. We love love.
We just love film.
We love films.
So come join us on the couch.
If you're as crazy as film as we are, come join us and have a good time with us. See you soon, my loves.
Bye.
Friend, I told you I was going to tell you about the demise of Puerto Rico's Doral Bank and a New Jersey banker who went there to clean it up.
So this is like a double hometown for you.
Double hometown.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I'm double dipping in this hometown.
Yeah.
So I got my story today from Bloomberg.com, APnews.com, BloombergQuint.com, DealBook.NewYorkTimes.com, CEO World.biz. All right. So
This is a financial heavy episode.
it's a financial heavy episode. Do you know anything about Puerto Rican banking or anything like that?
Actually, I am uniquely qualified to discuss Puerto Rican banking.
Are you?
No, I know nothing about Puerto Rican banking.
Got it. How about you, Cindy?
I know some.
Does the Doral Bank ring a bell?
See, no. I think of Banco Popular.
Right.
That's the one, or the cooperatives. So a lot of places do what's called cooperatives, where they do kind of like stock.
They have co-ops here, Cindy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay. All right.
She's tapping out. So Doral Bank started as the love child of Solomon Lewis in 1972.
Okay.
Solomon's father was Jewish, and he left Poland to escape the Nazis.
Okay.
You know, like many Jews of the time, he left for Cuba, where he settled and started a family. Because, you know, at the time, a lot of people left for South America, and, you know, a lot of Jewish people just went places
Wherever
where they wouldn't
could,
be fucking
yeah.
persecuted.
Yeah.
What a novel thought.
Yeah.
You know?
And where would accept them, because like America was like, nah, bro.
Really?
Yeah, there's this story of a whole boat of Jewish refugees that came to the East Coast somewhere.
Okay.
And America was like, nah, get the fuck out of here.
No.
And they had turned around and they had to go back to Europe, and everybody on that boat died in a concentration camp.
That's disgusting.
It's fucked up. And those are like stories that like we just don't teach in school. Like it's fucked up that happened.
Well.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Any
so-
place that would accept them, there were many places in South America that would, yeah.
So he started a family there, and later the family moved to Puerto Rico. Same tropical weather, none of the communism.
Right.
So this was good because the Levies liked capitalism. They liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So much so that in 1972 they started a mortgage company. This mortgage company was the seed for Doral. As Puerto Rico's economy grew, so did the bank, to the tune of $490 million by 2004. At that point, they held onto almost 50% of the mortgages on the entire island.
Okay.
And this is like 1970s. Puerto Rico's coming up. And,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are buying properties.
They're investing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
factories are coming there to work for federal tax-free.
I was going to say, is Puerto Rico already part of the United States at this point? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were part of the United States since like 1909 or something.
Oh, really?
Like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the 50s or something. Okay.
The Levies had sold off most of their shares and held on to 8% of the bank's stakes by that time, which made them some of the most wealthiest people on the island, because 8% of this bank's stake represented $355 million
Fuck.
for them, for the family at that point. So Solomon flaunted his money, and he was a man about town and a playboy. His mind was no longer on the bank, but on these nuts. His bullshitting came to a head in 2005 when a scandal was uncovered.
2005?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
It turns out the bank had inflated its earnings by a real reach of $1 billion.
Oh, no.
I did the Dr. Evil.
Yes.
Yeah. All kinds of investigations were launched because it turns out Wall Street don't like it when people play with their money. Solomon wasn't charged for fraud, but his nephew took the hit, and the family was ousted from the bank's business dealings.
Fuck.
This bank was fucked with a capital D. They had to cover a total of $625 million in order to stay operational, and they didn't have it. So picture pockets turned inside out and
Yeah.
a sad face.
Yes, I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
Now, when you say fucked with a capital D, I'm going to need a little more info there.
You don't see a D? D for dick?
Okay, all right. Okay.
A big D.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, like BDE, like big dick energy. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Figured I had experience with dick, so like that wasn't where I was thinking.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I was a little confused there.
understandable.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the
Understandable.
clarification.
No
For the
problem.
lesbian audience, I appreciate
That's right.
it.
Yes.
I picked that up after me and you started looking
I
at
was
each
like,
other.
what is she talking about?
We have notes for the lesbian listeners.
Thanks for that.
The bank's board was left scrambling. They wanted a new CEO to bring a fresh batch of suckers. Investors. That's the word I was looking
Perfect,
for.
yeah.
To inject some much needed capital into the bank because at this point they were like, yo, can I hold $1 right quick? So in 2006, they find this sweet young thing in Mexico. He is 46-year-old Glenn Wakeman, a graduate of the University of Scranton. Go Royals!
No.
He had been a real fairy godmother to GE all over South America, taking businesses that were pumpkins and turning them into some whole ass carriages.
This is a metaphorically heavy episode on Nydia's part, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of here for it.
I'm trying to paint a picture.
I'm into it. I'm
This is
pumpkins.
banking.
Yes, bitch, I'm here for it.
She's not painting a picture. She's painting murals today.
Yes, a whole story is happening. Layers upon layers upon layers.
This is banking, bitch.
All right.
I have to add interest
Yeah,
somewhere.
you gotta punch it up for sure.
I gotta punch it
Bitch,
up.
I listened to a whole ass fucking book about banking and I was like, I am ready to die. Like, it was so boring. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate this, a picture book, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
El Banco Doral stole him from GE
Okay.
and also brought along Lesbia Blanco.
Yes.
Not Lesbian Blanco. Her name was
it.
Lesbia.
Okay.
Lesbia Blanco,
So close.
who they stole from Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, shit. That's a heavy hitters.
These are heavy hitters. They stole them. They plucked them
Plucked them.
in the prime of their careers to come and save this bank.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the two big players
Okay.
right now. So Glenn Wakeman and Lesbia Blanco came in and were able to pull one out of their asses. They were able to get a $610 million injection of capital
Oh, okay.
from Bear Stearns, not an injection.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. They got it from Bear Stearns, Goldman Sachs, and a few hedge funds. With that new cash flow, the bank putted along for a couple years.
Okay.
Now, we will revisit this time period in a moment. So we're going to put a paper clip in this time period.
Okay.
I'm talking between 2006 and 2010.
Okay.
Okay, by 2010,
We know what happens in 2008.
yes, we do know what happens in
Okay.
2008. But just put a paper clip.
Okay, you got it. Clipped.
Okay. So by 2010, with the continued decline of the Puerto Rican economy, because I mean, we were hit with the same shit in
Yeah, everyone
2008
was,
that
yeah.
everybody was, right? The bank was hemorrhaging money and they needed to stop the bleeding. So they decided to hire someone with experience in managing big shitty banks. Enter Maurice Spagnoletti, an Italian Catholic from Jersey City, New Jersey. Maurice had started his banker life from humble beginnings. I know that you have this pride and prejudice against rich people.
I do yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So when you have somebody that came from humble beginnings
Okay.
and just rose to the top.
Can I describe what I think he looks like when he first starts out his career?
Okay.
He's got dirty jeans on, right?
Yeah.
And they're like cuffed up a little too high because he's got
Okay.
chucks on.
Right,
And
yes.
he's got a white t-shirt on. He's got a pack of cigarettes rolled up in the sleeve. And he's got his hair like slicked back. And he's like, hey, you guys, I'm going to go get some money for you. I'm going to bring it down the street.
I'm going to work at the bank.
Yeah, when I get older, I'm going to work at the bank. I'm going to get lots of money. I'm going to drive a fancy car, you know? And that's what he looks like.
That's right.
That's what he sounds like, too.
And he's got a switchblade comb.
Yeah, he's going to comb his hair.
That's right.
And we're going to be best friends.
Okay. I mean, because we're all from Jersey.
We're all from Jersey.
I mean. So he started his banker life from humble beginnings, which is what I wanted to point out.
Right. He was
didn't-
playing
he
stickball
wasn't-
in the street.
I mean,
all that.
he wasn't a fucking silver spoon guy.
Okay, fair
All right.
enough. Yep.
He worked as a teller in his teen years, and he went for his business degree at night. We can respect that.
Yeah,
right?
that's a hardworking dude.
That's right. He worked his way through the banking system and all the way up to president of Summit Bank's Pennsylvania division. His wife, Marissa, was also a Jersey girl, born and raised in Bayonne.
Yes, she was.
She had also worked at the bank with him. In 1999, they reconnected after she was called to testify in some bank court dealings.
Okay.
He asked her out after the trial was over, and they married a year later.
How romantic.
This is his second marriage. So
Okay.
he had 2 kids prior to this. So Maurice Spagnoletti was considered an optimist to crime.
Okay. I'm with you.
He was a positive person, always choosing to believe that things would work out.
It's like me.
Are you?
I don't know.
In 2000, he headed the Fifth Third Bank in central Indiana, and he was known to invite colleagues over for pasta and bocce. It doesn't get any more Italian than that.
Bocce ball.
I mean, right?
Pasta and bocce. All
Come and
right.
have some meatballs.
And play, I don't even know what bocce ball is. I know I've heard of it, but
It's like bowling and croquet. Like if bowling and croquet had a baby, I feel.
croquet.
Yeah, like with the little...
Croquette?
Is it
No.
croquette?
I don't know.
No, croquette's like the little thing with the gravy and the rice, right?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I'm so cultured, you guys. Like, please.
We all are.
My wife is cussing us out right now with all of this.
Why?
She likes bocce ball and all of that stuff that she played as a kid with her grandparents.
She's
Not me.
so Italian, meatballs fall out of her pocket.
Her flipped out pockets.
She probably has a switchblade comb.
She definitely does with that hair because she got that doo-wop hair.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. She has a pack of cigarettes.
Hey, you
rolled up.
guys. Yeah. She's got dusty jeans on.
From there, he went to North Carolina and he did some banking. You know, he worked in North Carolina for a little bit. And then in 2008, he was back in Jersey after Marissa's dad fell terminally ill. By now, he had a 3-year-old daughter with Marissa. Then in 2010, Doral recruited him.
Okay.
They offered him a nice payday that included a $400,000 salary, a $300,000 target bonus, and the title of Executive Vice President for Mortgage and Banking Operations.
And they get to move to Puerto Rico.
And they get to move.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was my next line.
Yeah.
The catch was they would have to move to Puerto
I
Rico.
mean, that does not feel like a catch.
Not a bad gig if you think about it.
Yeah, for real. If somebody was like, hey, man, you get to move to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You $400,000, $300,000. And, like, what the fuck does a banker do anyway? Like, a big wig banker, they don't do shit. They just sit in their office and fucking say mean things and, like,
You'd
push
be
papers and
surprised.
shit. I worked in a bank. They don't do anything. Other tellers do all the work. There's nothing happening there.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, he took the job.
Yeah, I guess he did.
And this made the 57-year-old the number 2 executive at the Doral Bank in San Juan, Puerto Rico, right under Glenn Wakeman. Remember I told you about him before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. At first, he commuted from New Jersey every 3 days.
To Puerto Rico?
Yeah. You think your commute is ass?
That feels like really bad for the planet.
I mean, the plane's going either way.
I guess.
Then Marissa and their baby joined them. They lived in a condo on Condado Beach.
Okay.
Beachfront property.
Sounds fancy.
The family was starting to enjoy living in Puerto Rico, and they would take their daughter to the beach, and they enjoyed the nightlife, you know,
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
He liked his job at the bank, too. He reminded his employees of a kinder, gentler Tony Soprano. Spagnoletti was a 6'2", 250-pound man who talked with his hands and had a strong Jersey accent.
Just like I described.
Yeah, but he was good at his job, and he believed that the bank could be turned around.
All right.
He liked his job so much that he hired his friend Bruce Balmus in the spring of 2011.
Oh, God, that feels like a mistake.
Well, what Spagnoletti didn't know is that he had walked right into a tar pit.
Uh-oh.
And to explain what I mean, I need to go back to the time period from before.
We're pulling the paperclip?
We're taking the paper clip
Okay,
out,
all right.
and I'm talking about Glenn Wakeman and Lesbia Blanco from 2006 to 2010, and what was going on there.
What was going on?
All right. So let's talk about Glenn Wakeman for a minute.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right. He was the CEO of Doral Bank, But prior to that, he had seen some great success in Mexico and other Latin American countries. He had a real Midas touch, turning many doomed companies right around.
That's
He
a skill.
definitely had a talent. It was a skill.
That's a skill,
He
yeah.
definitely had a talent. Maybe good old-fashioned luck on his side?
Oh. Or sinisterism. I feel sinisterness bubbling under the surface.
Well,
What is
okay.
he doing?
Let's talk about the other character.
Yes.
Lesbia Blanco.
The star of the show.
She's not the star.
Okay.
She was Doral's chief talent and administrative officer.
Okay.
She was on Wakeman's team. They were hired together. They were pulling this bank out of their ass, right? No, some weird shit was going down at Doral.
She peeps it.
She peeps it.
Okay. I mean,
She was one of the first
with a
people to
name
peep it.
like Lesbia Blanco.
That's a common Spanish name.
Is it? I'm obsessed with it.
You want to change your
I'm
name to
obsessed
Lesbia?
with it. I'm obsessed with it. She feels like the hero of the show. Yeah.
I think you might be biased.
I might be biased.
If you are named Lesbia and you are a lesbian, come forth. Dana
I'm
wants to meet
interested.
you.
I want to talk about it. I have many questions, thoughts, comments, concerns.
Well, some weird shit was going down at Doral.
And she sniffs it out.
Yeah.
All right.
So much so that if you look at Glenn Wakeman's LinkedIn profile, there is absolutely no mention of ever having stepped foot in Doral Bank boardrooms ever.
Shit. Still?
Honey, it's almost like he erased it. As a matter of fact, if you Google this shit, some men in black will appear at your door and erase your memory.
Oh, shit.
And before I get into the details of that, I'm going to return back to 2011 and Spagnoletti.
Okay.
So I just gave you like a little taste.
Just a little
Just a
bouncing
little
through
bite.
timelines. I love that
Yes.
from you.
You love it when I do
I
that,
love
right?
that energy, yeah.
So when Spagnoletti first was brought in September of 2010, Doral was a sinking ship.
Right.
Many mortgage loans were defaulting. This was in the heels of 2008. Puerto Rico was still reeling 2-3 years later.
Yeah.
Wakeman had gambled on being able to buy up some of the weaker, struggling banks on the island and, get capital that way.
Yeah.
But he, in the meantime, had also began to cut off most of the bank's financing to developers and small businesses, which are the bread and butter of these banks. If you're writing mortgages, if you're a mortgage bank and you're not financing doctors' offices and dentists and small businesses and developers, what the fuck are you doing then, right?
Yeah.
And so Doral was no longer a bank that invested in Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans, but rather a bank that catered to Wall Street and people not from the island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
They were selling these like wrapped up mortgages, they packaged up mortgages to Wall Street and, shorting the stocks and just fucking with it.
All the gross
Yeah,
shit,
all
yeah.
the gross shit, right? But that's where the money's really at.
Right.
So, and to this day, people believe that Doral, the bank, had a very heavy hand in the island's economic downfall.
Really?
Yeah, because they weren't writing loans to, to stimulate the economy.
Right.
To spawn local
Right.
businesses.
They can't spend money if they don't have money to spend.
Right.
They can't spend money if you don't give them loans. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The FDIC was threatened by this as well and blocked Doral from buying up the weaker banks. And this made Wall Street nervous. And they pulled out as investors, taking major losses in the tens of millions. Spagnoletti was supposed to come in and stop the bloodshed. And he did this by combing through the bank's financial records with a fine-tooth comb.
Uh-oh.
Soon, he was combing out big knots that led him to have a conflict with Annalise Figueroa. So Figueroa was the facility's vice president, and she was in charge of maintenance contracts and just the day-to-day runnings of the banks. Like, you're talking about a major bank and lots of those little branches.
Right.
So there has to be a vice president of this and a president of that,
Sure, certainly.
So that was her job, was to have contracts, landscaping contracts, all those people.
Yeah.
So Spagnoletti was clashing with her on everything, including the purchase of things as small as a table.
Really?
Yeah, because she was the one that did all the purchasing for furniture.
So he's like looking over every single nickel that she spends, and he's like giving her a hard time.
Yes.
Okay.
So he came in like a wrecking ball, and he canceled contracts with independent contractors left and right. He was trying to tighten the belt.
And sometimes that has to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
he was trying to tighten the belt of this failing bank. Right?
Yeah.
So one such cancellation was of SJ Tropical Maintenance Services, a very new company that opened its doors exactly 1 month after being offered the contract with Doral, and shortly after Glenn Wakeman was brought on as CEO.
Okay.
The previous cleaning company had never heard of them, and they were paid $27,350 a month, as opposed to the usual going rate of $23,000.
Okay.
That's what the previous company had been paid.
Okay.
So that's the standard
they
rate.
Paid more money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they held the contract for all of the branches.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the raise had been approved by Wakeman himself as a thank you. But for what?
Yeah.
You're going to find out.
Uh-oh.
So when Spagnoletti comes on, he notices that the maintenance contract is insane, and he cancels it and fires Annalise Figueroa.
Oh, shit.
She files a sexual discrimination lawsuit against him,
Oh,
and
shit.
the sun continues to rise and set, right?
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Okay.
Like, he's still doing his job.
Yeah.
She leaves with her tail between her legs, so on and so forth,
Moving
right?
on, yeah.
3 weeks later, it's now June 15th, 2011. His wife's birthday is the very next day, and they're busy prepping for the party that's about to happen. The family is planning this big birthday celebration for which even her sister has flown in. So everyone is at home prepping and waiting for him, including his 6-year-old daughter. He leaves the bank with balloons in the back of his Lexus and a gift for his wife. And he was, like, literally the bank where he worked was a short 15-minute drive to his condo in Condado Beach, right? Traffic is slow but steady when suddenly another car pulls right up next to him. And 4 bullets pierce Spagnoletti's head.
Shit.
His car continues to drive and comes to a stop by the brush on the side of the highway.
Fuck.
And you know, Puerto Rico's like fucking jungles. Highway, jungles to the sides.
Yeah.
At 7:21 p.m., he is pronounced dead at the scene by the police. In the days after the assassination, rumors ran wild.
Yeah.
Some said Spagnoletti had enemies in Jersey that had caught up with him. And you know what? Like, you hear Jersey, you hear mafia.
Right.
Right?
You hear a last name Spagnoletti. Like,
Right.
What the
And
fuck?
you're like, oh, he must have had mafia, you know?
Right, absolutely.
But that wasn't the case. Other rumors said that it was a Colombian hit.
That's a twist, all right.
I mean, his wife, Marissa, even filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the bank, claiming he had uncovered some fishy shit and was killed because of it.
Honestly, that sounds more the speed of it.
Well, the bank, the Doral's lawyers made sure to squash that shit, saying that she was making a ridiculous claim.
Really?
They were like, bro, we brought him, they were like literally, bro,
They were like, bro, yeah.
we brought him in to fucking flesh out fishy shit. Why would we kill him when he found the shit
I
that
don't
we
think
hired
it's the
him
bank
for?
that, like, did it. I think it's the people he fished out.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
The real story behind the murder was actually the fucking weirdest shit ever. And in order to explain it, I will have to take you back once again to Lesbia Blanco and the 2006 to 2010 time period.
Go ahead.
When Lesbia Blanco was brought on to assist in the preparation for the Wall Street investors, that $610 million that they got from Goldman Sachs and all of them, she came across something really strange. And whatever you're thinking right now, you're not going to, you're going to,
okay.
This is going to be like,
She came across
Come
something
again?
really strange.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
all right. She was working overtime on a Saturday when a security guard approached her and said there was a strange man in Glenn Wakeman's office who was unusually dressed. The man, he said, was dressed all in white and was wearing a beaded necklace. You know, not the usual suit and tie found in an executive office.
I'm picturing, like, did you ever see that documentary where the yoga like hippie cult moves into Oregon. I can't think of what it's called, but that's what I'm picturing. Like they're all wearing white and they have the beads and the big puffy beards.
You're getting warm.
Okay, all right.
Okay. When Blanco went to check things for herself, she found Wakeman's secretary, Nancy Velez, with the stranger. Mm-hmm. The secretary introduced the man as her Santeria godfather, Rolando Rivera. He was there to help with the bank's money problems. The man was a babalawo, or a Santeria high priest.
That's some Rasputin type shit.
That's some Rasputin type shit.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So, don't know what Santeria is?
No, I don't.
No problem, I got you.
Tell me.
According to Wikipedia...
Is this like, I don't practice Santeria, I ain't got no crystal ball. Is that?
I mean...
Okay, good. I don't know what Santeria is. I love that song, but I don't know what that means.
All right, well...
Tell me about it.
According to Wikipedia, Santeria is an African diasporic religion that developed in Cuba during the late 19th century, when enslaved people began to integrate their traditional Yoruba religion of West Africa with Catholicism's saints.
Shit.
So the religion is polytheistic, meaning they believe in more than one god.
Many gods.
Right, which they call the Oricha.
Okay.
All right, so these Oricha are equated with Roman Catholic saints.
Okay.
So think of them as saints.
Yeah.
Oricha.
Gotcha.
Each human is believed to have a special link to each particular Oricha or saint, right? Mm-hmm. So the Oricha are all ruled by one super deity called the Oludumare.
Okay.
All right. So this is the boss god.
Yeah.
All right. And the ultimate source of Ache, the supernatural force that can be manipulated through rituals. So think of it like this. The saints, God, and the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you got Oriche, which is the saints, Oludamare, which is God, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Ache.
Okay.
Right? So offerings to the Oricha, or the Oricha, I don't know how to say that word, the saints include fruit, liquor, flowers, animal sacrifices, things like that. And rituals can include drums, singing, and dancing to encourage an Oricha possession. So like where the Holy Spirit possesses you in like, you know, these other religions, the Oricha possess the person singing and dancing.
Gotcha.
And you know, it's like and like lots of dancing and like, you know what you've seen it on TV,
sure.
right?
Not maybe that specific thing, but I can visualize, sure.
Right. So I know this from Wikipedia, but also from childhood. As I remember my mom feeling like somebody had cursed her at some point. So we performed a Santeria ritual that involved rolling coconuts through our house, boiling eggs, and a whole lot of bathing in potions and house cleaning. And
other people's cultures are so much more fun.
We had a fun childhood.
That's so fun. You know what me and my sister did?
What?
We, I would put my little sister in a rug, like in a sheet, and I would drag her up and down the hardwood floor and I'd slam her into the couch. Like, that was, the most fun we had.
For religious reasons?
No, just because it was fun. We didn't have, cool religious, fun. Most of it was just, boring church shit. That's not fun.
That wasn't fun for me.
Yeah, that sounds so fun, though. Rolling coconuts in the house. That sounds like so much fun.
There was a chicken sacrifice, but I don't have... I can neither deny or confirm. I can neither deny nor confirm. But I know there was a chicken sacrifice at some point because I do remember.
My family killed chickens, but not for fun.
I was just going to say, Nydia, we grew up sacrificing, and I'm putting in quotations, sacrificing chickens every other week.
You just ate them,
living in Puerto Rico. I don't know what you're talking about, sacrificing chickens here. Well, that feels like a Saturday.
This was a sacrificial chicken in New Jersey.
Let's just say it was in Union City.
Yes.
You just killed chickens.
Killing
chickens.
We're just out here killing chickens and shit.
Yeah, we didn't I mean, we did the same thing because my family lived on a farm and shit. Not my immediate family, but like my uncles and shit, they would just like kill chickens and I would be like horrified by it.
Well, see, but this was for religious reasons. So I remember pulling on my little coat as a 7-year-old and bringing my little 5-year-old sister along at like 2:00 in the morning with my mom, who had to smash a coconut at the intersection of such and such street with such and such street.
In Jersey?
In Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Not far from Jersey City.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This shit was happening out there. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't doing that kind of fun shit.
No.
I would have been horrified by that. It wouldn't have been very fun for me.
Again, it was scary for me.
It was quite scary as hell.
Demonic possession when you are 7 years old. I'm glad you're finding it funny.
Well, it is like a little bit like the pieces are sort of starting to like puzzle together and I can like see the bigger picture now of why you're like just like, yeah, I'll try human flesh if you give it to me. Like the pieces are sort of starting to like fit together. Gotcha.
Well,
gotcha.
All right, back to my story. Mm-hmm. Let's move away from my childhood trauma.
Write that down for therapy. Next week we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah. So Lesbia Blanco noticed that the Santeria priest was coming around more and more often, and when he was there, he had direct access to this fucking bank CEO.
Right, yeah.
He is he's the CEO of the major bank in Puerto Rico.
I mean, it's literally like Rasputin with like Nicholas.
Yes.
Yeah, Tsar Nicholas. Like, it's like this weird fucking priestess is like controlling like all of the money of a country. It's fucked up, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, this dude was in an executive office rolling around a coconut, and although Blanco thought it was odd, she didn't question it because shit, that's somebody's religion.
So is she not like of the area? Is she also from Jersey or?
I mean, obviously I believe
she's Hispanic of some sort.
Hispanic of some sort, but you know, she may not have been his Puerto Rican. You know what I mean?
Right. Part of the local religion or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. I mean, you know, Wakeman was a transplant, and she was plucked from Johnson & Johnson. So,
right. Okay. Right. You're
Johnson
right.
and Johnson's in Jersey, so
right. Okay,
she might be from Jersey.
Gotcha.
Who knows? So she didn't want to offend her boss and say anything. You know what I mean?
What the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
Right. Also, like, that's a legit religion.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So another thing Lesbia Blanco noticed was how close Glenn Wakeman was with his secretary. She was the only person who Wakeman would allow on the elevator besides his driver/bodyguard. So it was just like those two people were like the closest to him.
So his driver, bodyguard, and the secretary.
Right. Nancy Velez. She would give him, like, she would carry his briefcase, and as he would get into his car, she would, like, give him a peck on the cheek. And I'm like, you know what? Like, the story, one of the stories that I read, it said that that's part of the culture, but yeah, no, it's not. Puerto Ricans are friendly, but they're not that fucking friendly.
Yeah, like, y'all, like, as my friends who are my friends will, like, you know, affectionately, like, hug and kiss when you like enter a room or something, which like as a person who is like very like rah about that, it does like, you know, it was a little jarring for me initially at first.
Right.
I don't feel that so much from you two specifically, but like in general, I know like the culture can be a little affectionate, but like maybe not with your boss and your secretary or like, you know, but like I think family wise maybe, but like
I guarantee you, no.
Definitely no, right?
No.
It seems odd, yeah.
Yeah, no. That would never happen. No.
So Lesbia Blanca has got her little notebook out, and she's like, man with beads, check. Coconuts on the floor, check. Kiss on the cheek from secretary, very strange, check. And she's just like walking around writing this down, but like not making big swings about it yet?
No, not making big swings about it.
Okay.
Until she does.
Okay.
All right. So the bank's president of security, Juan de la Cruz, also took notice.
Okay.
He had access to security cameras, and he said he often saw Rolando Rivera, that he would show up and he would be carrying liquor bottles and bags to perform rituals. Another employee that remained anonymous witnessed one ritual involving a caiman. You know what a caiman is?
It's a tiny alligator?
Yes. The caiman was brought in to the bank's parking lot.
What the fuck?
And taken up to the
That's some
executive.
Florida man type shit.
It really is some Florida man type shit. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're starting to see this Florida man type shit. All right. So the fucking Cayman was brought in to the parking lot. It was exchanged hands. It was brought up through the executive office elevators to
What the fuck?
to circumvent security.
I'm just like picturing this at like a fucking TD Bank or like some like,
Really?
a Summit Bank or something. And you're just like, wait, what?
I mean,
what the fuck is happening?
Right?
Yeah.
In the fucking boardroom
You're just
of
like,
a bank.
Open the elevator for the fucking tiny alligator, please. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And also, does the tiny alligator have a suit and tie and
A
briefcase?
little like top hat. Like, what the fuck?
It's an investor.
Yeah, right. An
Time
investigator.
And Dana, you go to the corner.
I need to high five about this.
So stupid.
So the Cayman story is dismissed by Santeria priests. They don't believe the Cayman would have done anything since they mostly practiced with sacrificing chickens, goats, and maybe the occasional ram.
The Cayman's innocent.
They were like, "There's no saints.
Nothing to do with it.
There's no, not their saint, but you know, their what are those called?
Deity.
Yeah, there's none of them that want fucking.
They don't
Caymans.
want Caymans.
So they were
Low
just
man
like,
on the totem pole. Nobody
if
cares.
anything, it would have done very little for them.
Okay.
And they said that shit with a straight face.
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, great.
All right. So still, the Cayman sacrifice seemed to work since Doral ended up landing that $610 million investment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
So, I'm sorry. I'm just so we're like clear about what's happening here. People are not upset about the fact that maybe a Cayman was
In a boardroom.
in a boardroom and sacrificed.
Right.
They're like their answer to that was like, well, no deity gives a shit about a Cayman.
Right.
If it was a ram, then there would be some
maybe.
unusual shit happening here.
I mean, maybe.
If it was a chicken, then it would be some spooky shit.
Exactly.
But this was a Cayman, so nobody cares.
No, and this was the
So this is a legit business interaction. The Cayman was just decor or something.
when in Puerto Rico, do as the Puerto Ricans.
Perfect. All right. Just so long as I'm caught up.
And we exchange Caymans.
We exchange Caymans.
So Rivera, the Santeria priest, was rewarded with a contract to clean Doral's bank branches and executive headquarters at an inflated price. He was the Santeria priest.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And so they
all right.
thanked him by giving him the cleaning contract
okay. All right.
at a much higher price than would normally.
Okay. So he came
that
in,
position would fetch.
did some shit,
With a Cayman.
some religious shit with a
With a
tiny
Cayman,
alligator,
yes.
right? And then he got a contract.
He got a contract.
Okay. So that was the thank you. That was the 500.
Yes.
Okay. But no shady shit happened. This was not shady.
With the blessing of Glenn Wakeman, he sanctioned that whole ass shit.
All right.
Because remember, this is all happening in his
Right, because they got a big deal because of it.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That ritual landed him a $610 million deal.
Now, I will just say this. Mm-hmm. We have a handful of multi-billionaires in this world, right?
Yes.
And if they're doing some, like, magic-y type shit behind the scenes that is making them money.
Yeah.
And, like, just because I haven't figured it out.
Right.
I mean, like, we cannot poo-poo that.
No, we can't.
So, like, I'm not mad at it. I mean, I don't love it. But, like, I'm just saying, like, no, all's fair in love and war.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm mad that I don't know the spooky
Right,
shit.
share the spooky shit, but, like...
I mean,
I'm just saying, like,
a chicken. I can bring my mom in as a consultant.
we could get our hands on a coconut, probably even a Cayman if we tried hard
We
enough.
can bring her on as a consultant, a Santeria consultant of the podcast.
Honestly, the fact that we haven't yet kind of feels like a failure on your part.
I have failed this podcast. Yes, we could
got
be
a fucking 1-star review because of this shit.
It's because my mom has. You know what? She should roll a coconut around here to get that mojo out of
Honestly,
here.
I think she should.
That juju
I think she should.
that got us a 1-star review.
It's some bullshit.
Some bullshit.
I'm laying this on your hat. All right, go ahead.
I'll get her on it.
Get her on it.
So Annalise Figueroa, the vice president for property and facilities, oversaw this maintenance contract. And although she thought it was weird that Wakeman was using Santeria, she didn't question it.
Yeah,
that's her fucking boss.
Right, yeah.
Then in 2010, Lesbia Blanco questioned why the maintenance contract was so much money.
Right.
She went to Glenn Wakeman and told him Annalise Figueroa should be fired. Now, Lesbia Blanco didn't question the initial amount, which was $27,000 and some change, right? A month.
God damn, that's so much.
So she uncovers something. She's like, wait a minute, this is outrageous.
Yeah.
And she goes to Glenn Wakeman and she says, Annalise Figueroa needs to be fired. Like, this is some shady ass shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on
So Wakeman basically circumvents her. He's like, nope. You know, starts to exclude her from the freaking bank meetings and just blacks her out of everything. So Blanco ends up leaving Doral in October of 2010. Now, her and Spagnoletti had just crossed paths because Spagnoletti was brought on in September.
Okay.
So she was almost like training him to take over her job. Lesbia Blanco believed that Spagnoletti came across the same abnormalities that she did because he had access to all her, computer records, and that he paid the ultimate price because it could have just as easily been her.
Right.
Because she was starting to be like, wait a minute, what?
Right, yeah.
So the investigation of this murder was very difficult because the 911 callers did not get a good ID on the shooter. But the FBI got involved right away because they knew that it wasn't a random murder and they suspected that it was the reaction to some type of fraud, right?
Bank-related, certainly.
Yes. So the case went cold and the FBI was so desperate to solve the case that a year later they put out a video on YouTube and they circulated a video asking for information and they offered a reward of $20,000. They were just no leads, right? They had leads, they did have leads, but they had motive, but they couldn't link the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? You can know who did something, but you don't have a way to link them back. You know what I mean? And it was just fucking scrambling.
Right, you need evidence.
You need fucking evidence, right? So it wasn't until December 2014 that the FBI finally raided Doral Bank for employee computers, which included high executives such as Wakeman and his secretary, Nancy.
God.
So by February of 2015, this was the wheels of justice were moving so slowly.
Yeah, because that's many years to clean that all up.
Right. By 2015, February, they had uncovered that the cleaning company run by the Santeria priest had brought in $2.4 million up until the point that Spagnoletti had brought that gravy train to a halt.
Really?
So from 2000, whenever they got that contract, up until Spagnoletti was fucking onto it, they had collected over $2 million from the bank. So the Santeria priest, Rivera, and, his name was Rivera, and his accomplice, Annalise Figueroa, were arrested and charged with fraud. 2 days later, the FDIC pulled the plug on Doral Bank, and they had to pay $698 million to its customers. Because, the FDIC is the insurance company.
Yeah, right.
That,
You pay it, you're done.
Yeah. So they closed the bank and they were they had to pay $698 million. That's insane. When the news of the bank's failure and the Santeria link got out, the founder of the bank, Solomon Lewis, remember the Playboy from the beginning? He came on the news with a shit-eating grin and joked about how not even the Cayman sacrifice could save this bank.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
What an asshole.
When Rolando Rivera was arrested, they found 10 guns in his home. They also learned that Rivera had a previous criminal record of murder dating back to 1983. He had been under house arrest and later acquitted of the crime. So somebody made that crime disappear. Turns out Rivera's clients not only included high-ranking executives, but also high-ranking drug traffickers. And both groups of businessmen used him for supernatural protections in their dealings. So Glenn Wakeman was looking for him to protect his Wall Street shit. And the drug cartel was looking for him to protect.
This is so wacky.
Isn't it?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. But I mean, they're both bullshitting on the island.
Yeah, right.
You know, drug traffickers were fucking with the island as well as the fucking
Just
banking
as much,
system.
yeah, just as much. Yeah. Like fucking the middle guy.
Both destroying
Right,
the island.
yeah.
You know?
Right. What is that?
From
when
both
you burn
ends.
to a candle from both ends?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. So Annalise Figueroa was arrested at the same time. And as it turns out, the only thing they were cleaning was the money because they were laundering it through the janitorial company.
I knew a pun was coming. I knew it. Great job.
So Nancy Velez, Wakeman's secretary, was also arrested for perjury. Investigators believe she was the one who orchestrated the change to Rivera's payment from a monthly $27,000 to a weekly $27,000. That's what was happening.
No.
That's what Spagnoletti found.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck?
It wasn't the $27,000 a month.
Bitch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is a fucking week?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So 8 months after Figueroa's arrest,
That's quit your job money.
that's quit your job money.
Yeah.
Yes. And like,
That's
honestly,
sacrificing a Cayman money, motherfucker.
a weekly Cayman.
Yeah, fuck yeah. There ain't no Caymans left in fucking Puerto Rico.
No.
That kind of fucking money.
8 months after Figueroa's arrest, authorities picked up Yadiel Serrano Canales,
my
a.k.a. Motombo. He was a drug dealer who was wanted on the island for shooting at police officers in a bar and using a woman as a shield to escape.
Class act.
I mean, just
I love
the
him.
classiest.
Yeah, he's great.
Motombo was the driver
Okay.
and also worked for Rivera's janitorial service.
Oh, nice.
So he was...
This is the other guy that was trusted in the elevator.
It came from the
Gotcha.
inside.
Nice.
Authorities also picked up Luis Carmona Barcenet, a.k.a. Canito Cumbre, and Alex Burgos Amaro, a.k.a. Yogi. Although they were not sure who the actual trigger man was in this case. They didn't, because one guy said it was the other guy, the other guy said it was the other guy, and both were looking at life sentences, So 6 people were arrested in connection with the murder. The FBI still believed there were more involved at different levels of culpability, but they couldn't find enough evidence to prosecute. As for Glenn Wakeman, he is now a consultant in the Miami area.
No, you lying ass.
And his LinkedIn profile is missing this whole ass time period.
No.
As a matter of fact, Wakeman pretends none of this happens.
He just gets away scot-free?
Yes. In all of his informational sites, where they talk about him as a businessman,
Right.
not a peep about this. And he denies the Santeria thing, saying, where the hell did this come from?
That's my new argument for everything.
Where the hell did this come from?
There's dishes and it's like, where the hell did this come from?
Dana, you're an alcoholic. Where the hell did this come from?
There's an electric bill? Where the hell did this come from? Every problem I have from now on.
That's right.
Honestly, it's doing great for him. So.
If a cop pulls you over for speeding,
Girl,
what are you going to say?
where the hell did this come from? That's going to go over great.
Yeah. In an interview with CEO World.biz, he claims the best $100 he ever spent was on a Spanish course because it helped him connect with his wife.
Cocksucker.
No mention of his time in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Oh, what a dick.
When asked, what did you take from your worst work experience? You would think, Doral Bank is like one of the world's worst experience that I ever had working.
I had to sacrifice a Cayman in my office.
Right. Nope. His answer was, I needed a job to pay for college tuition one summer, so I cleaned bathrooms in a factory that manufactured auto parts. It was hot, disgusting, and greasy. Again, no mention of Doral.
He's such a liar,
and the
too.
massive failure.
He never lifted a finger like that.
I mean, he went to the school. He went to College of Scranton, University of Scranton.
Yeah, he could have worked at the office. Get a grip.
The office. Yeah. That's what Scranton is known for.
Yeah, that's what I know Scranton for.
Right. So as for Spagnoletti's wife, Marissa, she has a gift shop in Morristown, New Jersey. It's called Lucy's Gift.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's the name of the baby girl she had with Maurice, the 6-year-old.
Yeah.
She donates a percentage of the proceeds to a foundation she started in her husband's name, which helps the less fortunate and victims of crime.
That's lovely.
And that's my story of how Doral Bank went down in the most embarrassing thing that Puerto Rico could ever be known for. It's very unprofessional.
Yeah, that is so wild. Like, I was not expecting all of the animal sacrifice that we talked about.
In a boardroom.
Wow. I can't believe
you imagine?
The CEO guy just gets off, though.
Yeah, they couldn't link him to anything.
What happened to Lesbia Blanco?
She just left. She quit
before.
In October.
Before, right?
Yeah,
right,
she left in October.
Because she's like, smells the fucking meat in the kitchen. She's like, nah, fuck this shit.
A month after Spagnoletti got there, she was like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. This is too fucking weird. Yeah. You know?
Then she sees the guy fucking came and walked in on a leash. She's like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't
She's
that fucking bizarre? Could you imagine you're at a job where you have to dress professionally and there's a fucking Santeria priest walking in?
In a boardroom, though? Like, in a bank? Like, that's, like, seems... You know, maybe like in the street or like, you know, like behind closed doors, maybe. I'm picturing it like a TD Bank or like a like a PNC
and
or like
exactly
whatever.
Is.
Right, it is, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I've been to Puerto Rico. Like, it's like the same banking system, right? Like, it's probably different banks and shit just because it's like locally in that area, but... Yeah, that's so wild.
I mean, if you go places in New Jersey, we have Banco Popular, we have you know, we have Santander, which is Puerto Rican bank.
Yeah,
and they're here. Yeah, so those banks are Puerto Rican banks.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
And so you've been in one of those.
Yeah,
Did you
definitely.
See a caiman being sacrificed?
No. No, I see the red carpet and the red walls and the whole banking situation. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad though that he was like trying to do his job and gets killed for it.
Marissa's like, you know, my husband died with honor. He died doing his job to the best of his ability.
Because, you know, he was like fucking scratching his head like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
Like, and to parse it all out, it's got to be like this little mystery that he was like solving, and like they were probably, you know, like, you know, like Ghost, when you watch Ghost with Patrick Swayze, and like, he's like the ghost already, and he's like figuring it out, and he's like, oh my god, these are the assholes that killed me. Like,
that's exactly what happened to him. He got fucking ghosted.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the movie, he uncovers this, you know, financial abnormality.
The same thing. Yeah, right.
And they fucking killed him to get him out of the way.
Now, I do want to just draw a little bit of attention to the fact that we had a president. His name was Ronald Reagan. You may have heard of him. I'm not sure. His wife did not let him... Nancy Reagan. I think I've discussed her on an earlier podcast about her.
Yeah, fellatio skills.
Yeah, she was fantastic first lady.
Yeah.
Now, she didn't let Ronald Reagan do anything before she consulted her psychic. I'm not sure if you know this about her.
Really?
But every move that he made, who was around him, the things he ate, the presidential decisions that he made, they were all...
Really?
Like funneled through her psychic first.
Wow.
So like this is not actually that abnormal. Like people are very wacky in like very high levels of government and banking. After Reagan got shot, which I've covered also on it. I've actually talked about Reagan quite a bit on this podcast.
You have. You're obsessed.
I'm obsessed with Reagan. He's my favorite. After he got shot, she like really honed in on her psychic. And like I listened to this podcast that like talked about the psychic specifically and like how much money she like raked the Reagans over for years because she would be like, should he make this political I mean, like literally political decisions were made through about our country, and the financial decisions and like, you know, epidemics and shit like that were all filtered through this psychic. And that's like factually stated. Like she wrote a book and everything. There's like a whole book by the psychic.
Was she reading tea leaves or was tarot?
I don't know if it was tarot or some sort of like just like, oh, I thought this thing, and she would just say it. Like they would have meetings over the phone. Like they would literally not make any decisions without running it through the psychic first.
Well, listen,
you know, sacrificing a caiman for money. Like I mean, hey man.
But you know, I mean, it's a religion. It's a religion.
Sure.
So. Is it any?
But even the religion
weirder?
is saying that we wouldn't have done that. Like even the religion is being like,
exactly.
We wouldn't even. It wouldn't have been a caiman, not a caiman,
not a caiman.
So like maybe it's even a more like obscure religion that.
Could you imagine like they're breaking the neck of the chicken and they're doing like dancing on the floor and they're like putting alcohol in their mouth and like spitting it out
with the fire thing
and oh my god!
I mean, yes, I can imagine all
in
that.
a fucking boardroom
Yes, I can imagine.
with all these white guys just sitting around.
These white guys in their suits and ties with their like bowler hats or whatever, and they're just like, this is going to bring us money, right? Yeah. Swear to God. Okay. All right.
All right.
You say so.
Yeah.
So I'm writing out the check.
Anything for money.
All right.
Wow.
You say so. Honestly, I kind of love that.
I mean,
I kind of love that because those really what's happened. Like, let's boil it down, right? What really happened here is this cleaning company fucking fleeced a bank for $27,000 a week. They're like, yeah, let's just cut the head off this fucking alligator. These white people will be like, this seems magical. Let's do it.
This has all the makings, and like I have to put this disclaimer in, allegedly, because Glenn Wakeman, he may have not. Maybe he was railroaded. Maybe he was completely railroaded. So we don't know. We don't know. We weren't a fly on that wall.
There's no proof,
right? So maybe none of this happened, but Bloomberg is talking about this, and so are a lot of people.
Yeah.
And this was like all over the news. It was
I'm sorry, you said something .biz. I mean, that's legit. Thank you so much.
It was .biz.
For God's sake. Thanks so much.
So,
that's a reliable source if I ever heard of one.
Yes. So I don't know that it's that it's a fact, but it is .biz.
Right.
And so
who argues with .biz?
I mean, who does? Who argues with them? It really is really crazy.
Wow.
When you think of it, like you would have never picked something as boring as finance and money.
I know, you're like, I'm going to tell a story about banking. I'm like, wow.
With Santeria.
Yeah, right. And I'm glad to know a little more about Santeria because that's like one of my favorite songs of all time. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm really happy to know more about it because I literally never even understood that it was a religion there. I don't practice Santeria. Obviously, that's a religion, duh.
Our mascot animal for this podcast is the chicken.
You're right.
And so now...
Do we practice Santeria?
We must.
We should get a crystal ball.
We should.
God damn it.
Anyway, we're now talking nonsense, so we're moving on. We're wrapping this up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it the hell up. All right, so listen. If you made it this far... subscribe so you don't miss out.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Can they subscribe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, don't pay attention to that 1-star review. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
We have a better review.
We do have a better review. We had a lot of love that came from this last airing of this last episode that we filmed like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because we're recording...
We're about 3 episodes out.
Yeah. The last episode, which was Fight or Flight, people really found it funny.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they gave us great reviews. The D-Meister one said that we were friendly and fun.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a 5-star review.
Okay.
And that's what this sounds like. It says, I look forward to the show now. Not all true crime grabs me, but this trio of friends really invites you in with great food and great stories. The anecdotal life notes they provide throughout are icing on the cake.
Thank God somebody cares about that.
Is that what they are? Anecdotal life notes?
That's someone who's not using the timestamp.
Listen.
That's right.
You're just
you don't get those anecdotal life notes.
What, no, you don't.
Something? What?
Life notes.
Life notes.
That's what he called them.
You don't get that by using a timestamp, people.
No, you don't. And not only do I get jealous of the meals they cook up, but I'm intrigued with the tales of crimes they share. Be sure to add this to your playlist each week.
That's sweet.
I feel that.
And I'll tell you what, if you get someone's playlist, if you get added to the weekly playlist, like I only have a handful of podcasts that I listen to every single week.
Yeah.
And if we're somebody's every single week, that does make me feel kind of good.
I mean.
You're kind of a big deal. Add us to it.
Yeah.
Add us to it.
Film Rage said, I've never laughed more at or with a true crime podcast as I did with this episode. That's of our last episode.
Yeah.
Well, not our last episode, but our Fight or Flight episode. He said, I fucking pissed my pants.
That made me laugh so hard when that came through.
Which I was like, oh my God, really?
Yes, we love it. We love a pee-pee pants.
We do love a pee-pee pants. We also want to thank Jody for buying us 5 drinks on our Buy Me a Coffee link. Yes, 5.
5 drinks. That's Nydia's. That's next week's rounds for Nydia.
Yeah.
It'll be your turn to be drunk next week.
Exactly. She said, I recently found your podcast. I love it so much. You guys are so much fun, and I literally laugh out loud. Thank you. No, Jody, thank you.
Thank you.
That was very generous of you.
you.
And here's your toast. Cheers to beers, legs behind your ears, and no sad tears for years and years.
I love that.
That's all for you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jody. All right, so listen. Write a fucking review.
Yeah, combat this 1-star bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Now we're fucking uphill.
Now we're a 4.9, and that's really lame.
I mean, anyway, share it with someone. We have over 100. We have 130 episodes in there.
Scratching my OCD, and I don't like it.
No?
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I know you don't. You're an Aries. What do you care?
We have 130 episodes that you can binge on.
Yeah.
And learn our little life notes.
Right.
Knife notes, too.
No, yeah.
We have a Patreon page. We're in social medias. We're on YouTube, apparently, which I didn't know.
Yeah. We've been for like a year.
Okay. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the TikToks,
Yeah,
all the shit. So check you out next week. And remember, do not get taken to that second location. Be good or be good at hiding a body. Cheers again.
Are you okay? Jesus Christ. You're so fucking loud. You're disgusting, and I hate you both.
Oh, God. I'm crying. Oh, my God. And holding my pee because I almost